Hey everybody, out here at the garden today. You'll see things have really taken off. Starting here with the wildflower row. Just looks like weeds from afar, but when you get up close, we've got zinnias, cosmos. It's going to be interesting to see what these are. They're really interesting looking. Some sunflowers. You'll see the big sunflowers down there that are about, hip high now, so they're doing great. We have, I'll show you, radishes. I've been getting loads of radishes. They're really taking off, doing really well. Carrots are looking good. That's what all these little bunches are. I'm going to bring some more seed out and plant some more of them because they didn't fill out as much as I'd like them to. Just a few little beets down here, which I also want to bring some more seed out for. But check out these onions. Look at them. They're looking great. So I think what I'm going to do this coming week, is come through, and I think I've got them planted too close. I don't think they're going to make very good bulbs because look how close I have them. So they really should be like 4 to 6 inches apart, and I have them, most of them, like 2 inches apart. So I think I'm going to pull some of them and finish this row with the rest of these onions because I want some nice, big, beautiful onions. But the plants are looking absolutely fabulous. I also need to add some nitrogen to them, which I will do this coming week because I'm going to be fertilizing the corn as well. But if you'll look at the strawberries, look how big these plants have gotten. Full of blooms. If you look down here, we even have some strawberries. Like, check out the size of that strawberry. There's one over here. So that is wonderful. We should get maybe a handful of strawberries. Potatoes looking great. Some of them, let's see if I can find it for you. Some of them, let's see, have the beginnings, some buds, where they're going to make some flowers. And potatoes have gorgeous, like lavender, lilac colored flowers, which I'll try to show you when they actually bloom. But that means, now that they're at the stage that they're blooming, that means they have made little baby potatoes under there. So if you wanted to dig up some new potatoes, which are those little tiny potatoes, you should have some under there in the next week or so that would be big enough for you to harvest and eat if you want to. In that case, you don't have to harvest the whole potato. You can just dig gently around the base of it, pull off the potatoes you want, and then bring the dirt back to them, and the plant should be just fine. But they're looking absolutely wonderful. Beautiful plants. Corn has also jumped since we got some rain, and we're finally starting to get a little bit warmer at night. You'll remember this is our Silver King corn. And if you look here, look at our Silver Queen corn. Can you see it coming up? I get down here a little bit further where it's a little denser. Check it out. So we'll have some Silver Queen corn following not long behind our Silver King. Tomatoes. Most of the tomatoes have gotten tall enough that I've had to weave them through our string. And all I did was just stretch this wide and take it over the top and over onto the other side. And if you'll notice, many of them also have buds on them. There's one down here that has actually bloomed. So check that out. This is on the Mountain Fresh variety. So the Mountain Fresh side is the first to bloom. But now I would say they're pretty much growing at the same rate at this point. Both Celebrity and Mountain Fresh are both have buds on them. And so far the Mountain Fresh is the first to actually open a flower. But we'll see who's the first to an actual tomato. They were all planted at exactly the same time. They've been treated exactly the same way. So it'll be interesting to see. Butter beans not coming up just yet, but if you'll look at those green beans coming up in this row. Pretty good stand. Might have to come and fill back in a little bit, but we'll give them a little bit longer, a little bit warmer weather here. Our nights got really cold not long after I planted those, so they've had a little bit harder of a time germinating. This row, you'll remember, is empty. I have the pepper plants to put in here, but our nights have been cold and I just don't want to put the peppers out just yet. Hopefully this coming week I'll get the peppers in here, and hopefully I'll be able to come across some sweet potato slips and get them in as well. This row here, nothing out of the squash just yet, or zucchini, or the flowers. This one right here, we're just starting to see some black-eyed peas. They're just starting to break free. So in the next couple days, they should really take off. You can see them there. And then over here, I think, if you'll remember, I planted the cucumbers and the sunflowers by that little planter. And I think, number one, way too close together. These are cucumbers. And I think every single seed came up. So what I'll be doing with those, remember the left side is the sunflowers. What I'll be doing with those cucumbers once they get a tiny bit bigger is transplanting some of them to any empty spots. You'll see there's a little bit of empty down there. It gets in the shade down there, so it may actually be too cool for the seeds to germinate. So I'll take some of these and transplant them down there because they are entirely too close. Over here, earlier this week, I planted 3 double rows. So there's a row here, here, and here. I planted 3 double rows of flower seeds. So it's going to be zinnias, hopefully some balsam, maybe some celosia, some wildflower mix, sunflowers mixed in there. So just going to let this be a crazy flower patch again. But it's been kind of a back and forth week as far as weather. Yesterday morning I woke up and it was 40 degrees, so not ideal. I have not been covering these tomato plants, even though I probably should have been. If you go by what science and research are telling us, below 50 degrees tomatoes suffer. But you saw these tomato plants are full of buds. They're growing. Some of them have even bloomed. So I think, knock on wood, I think they're doing great. There's no evidence of any sort of blight or pest. So hopefully, fingers crossed, things will keep moving in the right direction. I haven't seen any more evidence of our pest problem. The pest that we had last week that was digging so many holes. I think we did enough, created enough noise and disturbance this week running the tractor through here trying to get these flower beds made that I think we may have run the pest off for a little while. I am 99% certain that it is a raccoon, which will be an issue when we start getting corn coming in. So if I notice any more evidence of them when we get closer to corn starting to come in, I may move the bottom row of this fencing down even lower. Right now it's in some places it's probably about 10 inches high. It really needs to be more like 6 for a raccoon. So I think what was happening is I think he was going under right here where it's pretty high there. I think he was coming under right there and that fence wasn't catching him because there was a pile of poop right in this area. But like I said, fingers crossed at the moment, not having any issues with them. So hopefully it continues that way. But everything in the garden is looking great. Now we're just waiting for these seeds to sprout. This coming week we'll be getting the corn, the Silver King corn. We'll be getting the dirt thrown to those, and we'll be side dressing some fertilizer. Corn is a very heavy feeder. They want a lot of nitrogen. So we'll be making sure we get some nitrogen into them. I'm going to do the same with the onions. Like I said, I'm going to be moving them this week, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. If you'll remember, onions are new for me this year. I've never grown them like this, so it's a learning experience. I'll try to pass on everything that I've learned about them onto you in case you're new to it as well. If you have any suggestions for onions, I'd love to hear them, because like I said, very, very new to that endeavor. But anyways, hope you've enjoyed this. It's an absolutely gorgeous day today. It is I'd say probably 65, 68 degrees. You'll see the little gnats flying around the screen perhaps. They are quite a nuisance today. Good bit of wind. You'll see the clouds moving through. But absolutely beautiful day. Great day to be out in the garden. Great day to be celebrating mothers if you're celebrating Mother's Day today. Or should be even a great day tomorrow. A little bit warmer. But sorry about the wind. Definitely grateful for this beautiful weather. We could certainly use some more rain. We had what was supposed to be a big rainstorm several days ago. We ended up getting, I don't know, probably not even 1/8 of an inch. So not enough to really say anything happened. But hopefully we have rain on the docket for Monday and then rain again for Wednesday. Hopefully we'll get something out of that. Definitely hurting for rain. I think we're still about 10 inches behind for the year. So it's going to take quite a bit to catch up from that. Luckily we have irrigation. I actually don't have the irrigation on at the moment. And the reason I don't have the irrigation on at the moment is because this is very silty soil. So it looks sandy, so the surface looks very sandy, but down in there's a lot of silt, and then below that is clay. And so you have to be really careful in that you can't water too much, because it'll get really soggy and then things will rot. So if you'll look right here, even though we haven't had a lot of rain, you see how wet that ground is there. And that's where I've been irrigating it. So I think at the moment, especially while these seeds are trying to come up, I don't want to do any more irrigating right now. But nothing looks to be suffering. Everything looks like it's very happy. I don't know if you know too much about tomatoes, but tomatoes actually prefer to be on the dry side. They don't want to have soggy roots and be really wet. That's where a lot of your fungus and disease problems are from tomato plants being too wet. So letting them kind of dry out and just wait for the next rain, I think, is the best move at the moment. And then when I get peppers in the ground, peppers are a different story. They want twice the amount of water that your tomatoes want. So I've very frequently in the past made the mistake of putting peppers and tomatoes in the same row. And the problem with that is that I'm either overwatering my tomatoes or underwatering my peppers. So this year they're going in completely separate rows, and I'm going to be able to turn off the water to the tomatoes and get more water to the peppers. And we'll see if that makes a difference. Hopefully it does. But anyways, I've rambled on long enough. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend, that you had a great week. Appreciate you coming back to see what's going on. I know there's not a whole lot going on at the moment, but it will pick up as this weather gets warmer and there's a little bit more to do. Be a little more excitement this coming week with some things going on. But thanks for coming along. As always, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments or send me a message, and I'll see if I can address them. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.